Welcome to our morning show get-together on WRCO. Live in studio guests today include Roxanne Klubertons-Gerber, manager of ADRC of Richland County, and Chris Gerber is here as well to talk about the upcoming Marcie's Strikeout Alzheimer's second annual bowling fundraiser. It is here again. And Roxanne, we start with you a little bit because you're in to kind of talk about maybe some resources and things like that for people in the county.
Yes, so thanks for having us on this morning. So at the ADRC, we have a lot of different resources and programs, and many of those are related to serve individuals who have dementia or caregivers that are caring for those individuals that have dementia as well. So it's really important that people know about the resources that are here in Richland County. We do know that in Richland County, there's over 500 people that have been diagnosed with some sort of dementia, but those are only the ones that we know about. So when we think about that, we think about how important it is for people to have early interventions, make sure that they're reaching out for resources as well. When we think about individuals that have dementia, a lot of times there's a big stigma that's still around that, and people don't want to know. But it's important for people to know that the sooner they get diagnosed, there's more treatment out there. So hopefully you can slow that process a little bit, and it can help with individuals being able to remain in their own homes as long as possible, and then also having supports for their caregivers too.
I'm really surprised at that high number.
And I am too, but I guess over the years what we've learned is that it's actually probably much higher. And when we think about that, 70% of people that are living with some sort of dementia are living in their homes. So a lot of people think, they're probably in facilities, they're probably not in their homes anymore. But most of the people that are living with some sort of dementia are living amongst us. And so those individuals, we need to make sure that we know how to interact with people that may have memory issues or different types of cognitive issues.
Do you think it would be better if they renamed it? Because as you mentioned, I think a lot of people don't want to admit it. If it was named something else, maybe it would be easier to look for resources, right?
For sure. Actually, that's one of the things. So Chris is actually doing a fundraiser to raise money for Alzheimer's, for the Alzheimer's Association. And one of his things his mom used to say is, I don't want to have that dementia, but it's okay if I've got Alzheimer's.
Oh.
So it really is, there's some stigma related to that too, just in how things have been portrayed over the years. And really, people are living longer with different types of dementia, and they can actually live very full lives. So it really is about how we message around or do messaging around the disease itself.
Research, obviously, have they found some medicines and things like that work and maybe kind of hold it off a little bit?
There are a few different medications that if people are diagnosed early enough that may be able, they've shown some promise. There's always research going on, and that's, again, why we want to make sure that entities like the Alzheimer's Association and people that are doing the research have the funding to be able to continue with that, to have more treatments come available.
If someone contacts your office, obviously they probably need to go through their primary caregiver, don't they, in terms of, getting checked for, memory and cognitive issues and things like that?
So actually the ADRC has a dementia care specialist, and then we also have our ADRC specialists that can do memory screens. So we can do an initial memory screen for people. That doesn't give a diagnosis, but what that can do is say you are showing some signs that maybe could be some signs of some sort of dementia. And then we recommend people take that information to their physician, and so that they can have further testing from there. So that's something that people can come to the ADRC, they can have that done. It's free, it's confidential. And if they don't want to share that with their physician, they don't have to. Or if they want us to share that with their physician, we will do that.
Indeed. Any other resources you can think of and things like that? I know we had Pam Kohlberg on earlier this week, but there are some different things. The boot camp is coming up, I know, as well.
Yep. Caregiver boot camp is coming up. And actually yesterday in our committee meeting, I was talking about the boot camp, and one of our committee members says, I was in the military. Boot camp sounds scary. It's really not scary. It's actually a lot of information that's given to caregivers, a lot of resources. We're doing a Dementia Live piece through that as well. So it really really is a day of connection and a day for people to learn about different resources. Some other things that we have is we have the Alzheimer Family Caregiver Support Program. So that is grant funding that we receive each year from the state of Wisconsin, and that is meant to support caregivers that are caring for somebody that has some sort of dementia. So we could pay for respite care. We can pay for different types of supplies. We can pay for maybe a caregiver to go to an event or overnight respite. We can pay for some of those things for caregivers. It really is aimed at supporting caregivers so that they can continue to provide that care to their loved ones, and with that end goal of the person remaining in their own homes and the caregiver remaining healthy.
When Chris's mom was going through this, I'm guessing, you gave him some pointers, but professionally you probably couldn't, or how did that work for you as a family?
That was a really hard time to navigate. With my position, I tried to stay very neutral, but did give him as many resources as I could, like I would anybody else. I think that it gave me a whole new understanding of what families go through. I've managed facilities in the past, so I've worked with people with different types of dementia my entire career. So I've been doing that well over 30 years. This was the first time that I actually dealt with it personally. So to see a loved one go through it, it gave me a whole new view different from a professional view. It really gave me a view from being a loved one that is watching their loved one go through something like that.
Indeed. And you had a lot of support, Chris, not only from your wife here, but the family and the community too, didn't you?
Yeah, the community big time. And then, of course, like Roxanne said, with her position and a few other things, it was very tough to navigate some of the legalities due to the fact of confidentiality, conflict of interest, those kind of things to navigate, and it really was very frustrating. So part of my driven portion of this is also to start talking to legislatures and everything else to try to figure out how we can navigate so people like me that are in this position, and yes, it's very few, but to be out for confidentiality reasons and to be locked out of everything and try to get true, honest opinions was very, very tough. But yeah, so we're very fortunate. I'm super blessed with the community. As you guys know with Grace, what this community does, as small as it is, how big they step up. All of this was done, basically via text messages or Facebook or some form by me. I didn't go business to business. I didn't walk in begging because I also worked in this community for many, many years, and the amount of donations every business gets hit up with is unbelievable during a time of year. So that is also why I've made it a daily kind of thing on my events page for my mom's tournament to promote all the people that are, please go see these businesses, please go to these businesses, because they need it in order to do what they're doing for the things that they care about as well.
For people that don't know, to recap, your mom loved bowling, right?
She was my bowling coach she started bowling way back in the late 70s, early 80s, with a group of ladies out of Plain in our little 4-lane house in Plain. I didn't get involved until we moved north to Minnesota when I was probably 10 or 11. But my mom was my coach for all the way up through high school. And then I started to bowl in college and did that kind of stuff. So we did them together. But bowling was one of our connections. If we wanted to go do something for fun, her and I would go to the bowling alley. If she knew where she couldn't find me, because none of us all had these little lovely cell phones and everything back then, it was call a place and see if you're there. And she could 90% of the time call the bowling alley, and that's where I was at. And I grew up there. I was raised there, and the owners now have changed hands up there, but they're still great friends. And his wife actually went through a stroke. So him and I and her can talk about what we've gone through since I had mine. But bowling has always been our connection. And, thanks to the ladies here in town, Marcia Nodigal and all, Marcia Smahatka and those ladies all walked her and helped Mom, even when she started to forget how. And I can't thank those ladies enough for being patient with her to let her finish out doing what she loved to do. So that's why the bowling tournament came into play.
What was her high score, by the way? Do you remember?
Probably at the end there, I think, she was probably her highs were in the 200s. I mean, she had a few 200s there.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I think she was averaging still 130, 125.
So she beat you most of the time then?
Not very often, no. And but I thank her all the time. And it was always fun to just know. And that was always her biggest question was, well, what'd you do? And if she came down, even when she was still closer to the end there, she'd come and watch me. She still wanted to coach me, still wanted to be there to tell me to straighten up, whatever it may be. So, yeah, she is, we're dearly missed by her. I miss her every day. Anybody that's lost their parents, Roxanne's gone through both of hers, and my mom's gone. I'm blessed to have my dad yet. But, yeah, I just, that's why I decided to pick this up, and my wife says I love big crowds. I do. I guess I like to be around to where I can make a difference. And so this tournament made a big difference. The first annual, I went in with a goal of $1,500. And I told her, I said, if we make $1,500, I'll be tickled. After the day was over and they counted all the money, we had made $5,133 that we turned over to the Alzheimer's Association. This tournament, I stepped up the game because of the sales manager portion of my brain gets wired, and I want to do the best I can. My goal is $10,000. Now, it's a huge goal for me in 12 months to do $15,000 because it will be in November here. We actually held the first in December. So we're not even 12 months out. But we'll see what happens. We got a good start. The bowling portion is full, but the bowling portion doesn't raise funds. I use all of the entry fee money to pay back the bowlers. It's $1,000 to win. Where the money comes from then is all the bowlers buying bowling ball raffle tickets, basket raffles, silent auctions. So we have a plethora. That's a good word.
Plethora.
A plethora of basket raffles, silent auctions. I've got 8 bowling balls to give away that day. It's unheard of in a bowling tournament that if you go to and they're nothing like Kmart specials. These are all great bowling balls. So, but it isn't possible without all my sponsors. I've got 12 lane sponsors. I had 2 personal friends donate an unbelievable amount of money that helped immensely. Both made me cry when I got the checks. I still struggle that part emotionally that people are there in that capacity. Somewhat, I think, like what you and June do when you do Grace and you see the amount of money that Grace raises in a year.
Right.
This is kind of that same thing. So without the support, though, of my wife and my kids and family members and my dad and my stepmom, because we all are that close, makes this possible. I couldn't do it all on my own. My kids show up. A lot of them don't like big groups either, but they do it for Nana, their grandma, and it's just what it is for the family. We all step together, and we're going to do what we can.
So the first annual, that really did surprise you, and you've kind of set the bar high for the second one.
Yeah, and what amazed me about that is when the Alzheimer's Association marketing team is actually coming up to our tournament on Saturday. Channel3000.com covered and wrote an article about my mom's bowling tournament as well. This is all where they're saying, oh, Chris, this is unbelievable. And to me, yes, it was a shock, but I don't put it in that upper echelon of unbelievable or great things like that. It's just what I do. It's just kind of how I've rolled with things before is you just carry on and you do what you can and you do the best of it and you knock it out 100%. Now, do I do that always in my personal life? Probably not. But when it comes to this tournament and what I do for my mom, I'm going to knock it out of the park because I feel she's looking over me and she's got the judgment still going on of what's going to happen here. So hopefully it goes as smooth as can be because we have a lot to do. The doors are going to open at 11 o'clock for the public. The bowling is going to check in. The bowling teams are checking in at 10:15. There's youth league. So we have to work around that too. So I'm hoping that we can start practice just before 11 or so, but that'll also give bowlers time to buy raffle tickets and do their stuff and kind of gets settled in on their lanes. I've got lanes drawn and everything already for them to go to, so they can start doing their silent auction stuff before the public comes in.
Well, where will the auction items and all that stuff be located at then?
Well,
all over the Phoenix Center?
Yeah, all over the Phoenix Center, I think. Greg and Amy we've looked at the stuff I've brought in, and we're kind of going to have to minimize some of the dining area in the bowling alley. It'll be along all the outer walls because, quite honestly, I think I've got 40-some basket raffles and over 20-some silent auction items. So we're talking to try to display 60 to 65 items, and people are still, I got notified that I have a couple other things coming yet. And I've quit begging or asking or anything. I don't beg for any, I've simply asked, hey, are you interested or not? Some people had to think about it, and then all of a sudden they get back to me, and I had forgotten that I had sent the email. I had bowling balls coming to work, and my boss is like, oh, here's another bowling ball. Well, I didn't even know they said yes, they would send one. So I'm starting to stockpile all this stuff. But yeah, we'll have it all over. It'll be everywhere in the bowling alley. There's going to be stuff.
Awesome. We'll talk about some of those items individually, which you can see and bid on and be a part of Marcie's Strikeout Alzheimer's when we continue with more on The Morning Show. Welcome back to our morning show get-together today on WRCO. Roxanne Kluber-Towns-Gerber and Chris Gerber are here as we focus on Marcie's Strikeout Alzheimer's, the second annual bowling fundraiser coming up on Saturday. There are a lot of things there. I think there may be a couple of pies, and we have an astute listener every day who calls in and says, ask your guests about the Andy Griffith Show and the whole debacle with Henry Bray not allowing my answer about the kerosene pickles. You know, he says that's Aunt B's specialty. It's not. But what would you guys think about that?
Well, Henry knows already, Phil, how I feel about it, because I texted him immediately after that episode and told him it was pies, and you deserve a fridge hanger out of that.
Thank you.
But he said he was an official and that it counts as it counted. So he said you're no arguing with the official. So now we have somebody that's way smarter than us and way more politically correct than all of us to give that answer.
So what would you say, Roxanne? It was Aunt B's specialty.
Well, I'm sorry, Henry, but it's the pies. There's how many episodes about pies? And her specialty, those pickles were awful.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So
we're here for you, buddy.
Thank you. It makes me feel so much better today.
I'm waiting for him to throw the flag around the corner, but I think he had to actually he said he had to go to work.
That's what he said.
I don't know. He's probably down at Christie's or something like that. Probably getting donut specials or something.
But speaking of which, in seriousness, you do have some pies, some cheesecakes Saturday, don't you?
Yes. So I had a lady call me last year and said, hey, Chris, I really need to know what kind of flavors you want. I said, Diane Nautigal, whatever flavor cheesecakes you want to make, I'll gladly take them. Well, she had my daughters at school, and then she's got some family stuff going with the Alzheimer's and dementia stuff. So she said, I want to help. So we have 2 more pies this year. But she was heartbroken because they did not go for the money that she thought they should have. Because your Grace department does quite a bit better with those pies. But so, again, I don't need bowlers to come down. I mean, they'll do what they do, and they support me huge. I need the public. I need the public to come on, so you don't have to be a bowler. You just want to make a difference in this community. So we are going to have, I believe she said, a cherry and 1 triple berry cheesecakes from Diane Nautigal, plus a towel basket, which I'm not sure what a towel basket is. It sounds something like my late mother-in-law would have loved, because she had towels. She could have donated a lot of towels probably to the towel basket. But yes, so we have the cheesecakes will be there from Diane Nautigal. I've got a full smoked brisket from TKO. Ooh. Yeah, and I heard that was phenomenal. I've got, of course, my boss is donating a $250 gift card for any UTV, ATV turn signal kit or towards install or wherever that may be. Shinsan Smoke out of Boscoville. I got a 4-inch rocket stove from them. with the grill attachment and the griddle attachment. It's a $600 value. That'll be on the silent auction. I've got firewood. I've got foursomes of golf. I've got underwater camera from Aquaview. Team signed football from Packers Give Back. I've got a ice guided fishing trip out of Upper Red Lake that we went to last year. We're going back in January. He gave me a $500 gift certificate for that. I've got original artwork from Wyatt Detweiler, Roddy Dull, Susan Price. I've got framed artwork from Lisa Swanson, Randy Olson Trucking with gravel. Of course, Randy is one of those guys that you call and, yep, I'm on board. And he's known my mom forever. He took care of their roads forever. I've got a Riverbend Roosters hunting and shooting preserve trip, a buddy of mine that I rode many canine hours with. It's a $1,200 hunt in Casper, Wyoming. So you can go out and hunt pheasants out there. Bob will take care of you the full day. It's guided with dogs and everything. So if you're out in Casper and you want to go visit or take a vacation, head to Casper, Wyoming, and he'll take care of you. And you might buy a black lab at the same time. He raises those too. So I've got the Door County Cherry Hut, Rotocap. They make all the hard tonneau covers for Ranger, the Defenders, all the major brands. They're hard tonneaus like you would have on your pickup. They now make for UTVs. They sent the hard cooler and the tonneau cover certificate. They're $1,000 a piece. I have 2 of those. So I've got plenty of going on. I've got an Ashley coffee table from Prairie Motorsports. I want to thank Greeley Signs for doing what they did for me, for making the lane sponsors and all of that. The Phoenix Center bowling parties. I've got PBA signed jersey from EJ Tackett. I've got an autographed jersey from both professional women on tour, Verda Crawley and Stephanie Johnson. A PBA bowling sign pin from the actual PBA tour. So I've got a lot. Morris Heating and Cooling, Mike and the crew. I can't do enough thank yous to him. Full-sized autographed Brett Favre helmet. It's in a case, and a Reggie White silver coin. So I've got, if you name it, I probably have something that'll fit along the lines. Plus, I've got, if you are going to be a Badger fan, it is not finalized yet, but if you are a Badger fan, you aren't going to want to miss out. It's a pretty cool basket that'll be put together when it's done. So I will give more details when that's done. But yeah, some gifts for everybody.
So you're going to do some raffles where people buy tickets, and then are you going to have the silent where you can write down a bid
Correct.
too?
So the silent auctions will be all the big stuff. It's going to be silent auctions where you bid on it, and you can outbid the next guy. All increments like $5, kind of like what you did on the radio station, with your Grace stuff but it'll be there on paper. And then the bowlers, we're going to take a break after game 6 so they can go along and make sure they refill in all their stuff. But then we're going to have a ton of basket raffles for $25 gift certificates for the locker, for, her and I, Roxanne and I are doing a wine basket that we did. Her and Mom used to drink wine together, loved to do it. So we're doing that. We've got just an unbelievable amount of stuff. But yeah, basket raffles. The raffle tickets this year are a little different. There's like 25 of them individually you tear apart. So what you'll do is you'll register for a number when you get there, and you're going to write your number. You won't have to write names or anything, but I want your number on the back. That way, if you have to leave and we would pull yours, I can still call you and get your name, or somebody may leave early. We caught that last year, and thank goodness we had the number because we could call the guy and say, hey, you won. You need to come back and pay for it or whatever it may be. So the silent auction stuff, you'll write in your name and number, but all the basket raffles, you'll have plenty of opportunities. I made it reasonable for price-wise to hopefully raise the $10,000 that I want to raise.
Sounds like you're well on your way. And that was my next question. So somebody got something else going on that day, they can stop down and put some bids on and then leave and come back
as long
and
as
check.
they don't get outbid,
Yeah.
We'll do that. It's going to right now, tentatively, we're looking at basket raffles will be open from 11 to 2, and then silent auction will be open 11 to 3. Tournament and everything should be wrapped up by 5:30, 6 o'clock. Last year, a lot of people showed up, and the 50-50 was done already, and they're like, oh, I didn't know, what time. So when the doors open to the public at 11, all the basket raffles, all the silent auctions will start, and then we will have closing times. So if you have other things to do, it'll be tough for you to probably win it, because I do want to get paid that day too. So everything will be done. And then as far as checks and things, we're for larger amount items, there's an ATM at the bowling alley, there's one at Quick Trip, whatever it may be. Checks are just really hard because you just never know. And then to try to track somebody down with one, we'll make that call kind of as we go. But that's where it'll be there. Right now, it'd be nice just to do cash only, so we can do clear all of our payments and everything that day, and then know what we have for a final number.
Mm-hmm. And Roxanne, the money raised, it does come back to us here in the county, doesn't it?
It does. So the Alzheimer's Association, actually, they have somebody that's going to be there on Saturday as well to be able to give out information, resources. And when you donate to the Alzheimer's Association, that money goes towards research and then programs that we have right here in our own community. So what's raised in Wisconsin generally stays in Wisconsin. And I think for some people, when they make a donation or they do things like this, they're concerned about where's my money going. So 100% of the proceeds after the bills are paid goes towards Alzheimer's. And so Chris actually has set up an account at the bank, and it is actually Marcie's Strikeout Alzheimer's account. So it's not that it's going into an account in his name. It literally goes into that account, and then that money goes straight back out to Alzheimer's. So that is another good thing, because sometimes people are a little wary. I had a conversation with somebody the other day that said, but how do we know? Well, we know because he has an actual account that's set up. It's not going into his account. It is actually all set up separately.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can, even if you can't be there Saturday, you can give your money in advance and, do what you do. So.
Yeah, we'll have donations available. I mean, you want to hand just a cash donation, we can put it in, it'll get counted just like anything else. If you can't make it Saturday, there is still an account set up. I'm leaving enough money in it to leave it set up permanently at People's Community. Laura and Tom have taken care of have all taken care of me really well there. And it's literally Marcie's second Alzheimer. So it'll go right in that account. So I cannot just come in like Friday now when I go in to get all the money out to make the entry fees and everything else. That's the only time I'm touching that, is then to come to the bowling alley to bring that money there. And then it'll all get counted. A cashier's check will be made just like we did last year, and there'll be a post showing them collecting the check and everything else.
Are you bowling in the tournament?
No.
No. Too many other things to do?
Yeah. Due to the fact that not a lot of my family members, know anything about bowling, which is quite funny in itself. But no, I am running the tournament. I've got so many great bowlers coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a total different system. If you've never seen a Baker system, this isn't like league night where 1 through 4 bowl in an order in games. They bowl in the order in one game. So your leadoff guy bowls the first and the fifth, and then the second and the sixth, third and the seventh, so on. Yeah. So they make one game out of those 4 guys. And then we go on to the next game, and we're bowling 12 games that way for qualifier, and then a double elimination tournament after. So they loved it. Everybody around loved it. I got a lot of compliments on it because there's nothing like it around here that people can participate in. And I've got some big rollers coming for it. Last year, the young bucks out of Lone Rock won it, and they were ecstatic. And they're back again this year as defending champions, so we'll see who can knock them off their perch if they can.
Yeah, and people can just come and watch because, as mentioned, the bowling is full. But
bowling is full, and the bowling alley is making Sloppy Joe specials and all of that. So there will be food specials, and if anything, come and have a brandy old fashioned in honor of my mom. My mom's best friend Betty will be there. Betty has known my mom and her were best friends forever. They played cards together. Betty spent a lot of time raising me, probably too, I'm sure. But
don't blame her.
Well, don't blame her. Yeah, don't come up to blame her on that. So that's where we're at. but we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, good luck. It sounds like you got all the ducks in a row here, Chris.
We hope so. We'll see how it all goes.
Absolutely. And Roxanne, thanks for your expertise here today as well.
You're welcome.
You bet. We hope everybody will stop out. If not, make some bids and then just head on your merry way Saturday. But it's going to be going on at the Phoenix Center through the day. Marcie Strikeout Alzheimer's second annual bowling fundraiser. Thanks to Roxanne Kluber-Tons Gerber and Chris Gerber for being our guests on this portion of the morning show.